The skies above Washington, D.C. were painted with the vibrant hues of a late January afternoon, the promise of a tranquil evening ahead. Little did anyone know, however, that the serenity of January 29, 2025, would be shattered. At precisely 9 p.m., a catastrophic mid-air collision occurred between the passenger aircraft and a Black Hawk helicopter. The bustling heart of Reagan National Airport became the epicenter of a scene too horrific to imagine. The aircraft involved, America Airlines, was reduced to mangled wreckage. The deafening roar of the collision echoed across the Capitol. Emergency responders raced against time, battling flames and debris in a desperate search for survivors. Hope dwindled with each passing moment. Initial reports confirmed 67 souls had perished. The human cost of this tragedy left an unfillable void in the hearts of families and communities. As the sun set, the nation grappled with the enormity of the tragedy. How could a modern aircraft and a Hawk helicopter collide in the skies over one of the nation's busiest airports? The search for answers began immediately. The nation, united in grief, waited for the truth to emerge from the ashes of this tragedy. The serenity of the leavening was shattered by the deafening roar, a grotesque symphony of metal tearing through the air. A local resident remembers the moment vividly. It was like a scene from a nightmare, she recounted. One minute the sky was clear, the next a huge fireball erupted. At Reagan National Airport the scene was one of utter chaos. Passengers watched in horror as the collision unfolded. Another witness described the scene as surreal. It was like time stood still, he said. We saw the plane and helicopter collide, then an enormous fireball. People were screaming, crying, it was pandemonium. Amidst the chaos, stories of extraordinary courage emerged. Air traffic controllers worked tirelessly to clear the airspace. First responders faced a harrowing task, battling a raging inferno. Their bravery offered a glimmer of hope. Official statements painted a grim picture. The FAA confirmed the collision and pledged a full investigation. The NTSB dispatched a team to the crash site. The nation mourned the loss of 67, united in grief. The news of the Reagan National Airport collision ripped through the nation like a fierce storm, leaving a trail of shock, disbelief, and profound sorrow. From bustling streets to quiet suburbs, a collective gasp of horror swept across the land. The images dominated television screens and news feeds, etching themselves into the collective memory. Flags flew at half-mast, a somber symbol of national mourning. Condolences poured in from around the globe, world leaders expressing their solidarity. The outpouring of grief transcended borders, a testament to shared humanity. Families gathered, seeking solace in each other's embrace. The nation mourned not just the numerical toll, but the individual stories and dreams shattered. As the nation grappled with the tragedy, questions swirled. How could this happen? What went wrong? The search for answers became a collective national pursuit. The nation, united in grief, prepared to embark on the journey towards healing and understanding. The world seemed to stop for those who witnessed the horrific events of that fateful afternoon. Ordinary people going about their day suddenly found themselves thrust into a scene of unimaginable tragedy. Their accounts, raw and emotional, paint a vivid picture of the chaos and terror that unfolded above Reagan National Airport. A young mother pushing her toddler in a stroller along the Mount Vernon Trail could only stare in disbelief. I saw the plane and the helicopter collide. It was like something out of a movie, but it was real, she shared, her voice trembling. There was this loud boom like thunder, only 1,000 times louder. And then the smoke, oh my God, the smoke was everywhere. On the other side of the Potomac, construction workers on a break from their labors at the Pentagon watched in horror as the tragedy played out before their eyes. A foreman on the site recalled the chilling moment. One minute we were joking around, the next we were watching a plane plummet towards the ground, he said, his voice heavy with emotion. We knew it was bad, we could see the fire, the smoke, but we felt so helpless. There was nothing we could do. Inside the airport terminal, the scene was one of pandemonium. Travelers, their faces etched with fear and confusion, watched in disbelief as the news spread like wildfire through the crowded gates. A witness waiting to board a flight to Los Angeles described the atmosphere as pure chaos. People were crying, shouting, trying to call their loved ones, she said. It was like the whole world had turned upside down in a matter of minutes. As the dust settled on that tragic afternoon, a wave of official statements began to emerge, offering condolences, pledging investigations, and seeking to reassure a shaken nation. The words, carefully chosen and delivered with somber tones, carried the weight of tragedy and the immense responsibility to uncover the truth. President Trump, addressing the nation from the Oval Office, expressed his profound sorrow. "Our hearts go out to the families and loved ones of the victims," he said, his voice filled with emotion. "This is a national tragedy, and we will not rest until we have answers." He promised a thorough and transparent investigation, vowing to hold those responsible accountable for this catastrophic event. The Federal Aviation Administration immediately grounded all flights in and out of Reagan National Airport, as well as other airports in the Washington, D.C. area. "The safety of the traveling public is our top priority," stated FAA Administrator in a press conference. "We will not resume operations until we are confident that it is safe to do so." He assured the public that the FAA was working closely with the National Transportation Safety Board to determine the cause of the accident and implement any necessary safety measures. The NTSB, the lead agency in aviation accident investigations, dispatched a team of experts to the crash site. "Our mission is to understand not just what happened, but why it happened," said NTSB Chair in a statement. "We owe it to the victims, their families, and the flying public to find answers and prevent future tragedies." In the moments leading up to the collision, the air traffic control tower at Reagan National Airport was a symphony of chaos, a cacophony of urgent voices and frantic instructions. The controllers responsible for guiding dozens of aircraft through the busy airspace faced a nightmare scenario, their worst fears realized in a matter of seconds. Transcripts of the radio communications between the tower and the two aircraft, released to the public days after the crash, reveal the escalating tension and the desperate attempts to avert disaster. American 1124, turn right heading 270, traffic 12 o'clock 6 miles, American Airlines 555, do you have that traffic in sight? A controller's voice boomed through the tower, a hint of urgency creeping into his tone. Seconds later, the chilling realization that a collision was imminent. American Airlines 555, descend and brake hard right, repeat, descend and brake hard right, American 1124, climb immediately, climb immediately. The desperate commands, laced with a mixture of urgency and fear, were met with silence. The horrifying sound of silence broken only by the hiss of static. The controllers, their eyes glued to the radar screens, watched in horror as the two blips representing the aircraft merged into one, their worst nightmares realized. Emergency, emergency, emergency. A controller's voice cracked through the static, the words heavy with the weight of tragedy. "We have a mid-air collision. Repeat, we have a mid-air collision." Amidst the wreckage, the twisted metal and shattered glass, investigators focused their attention on two critical pieces of the puzzle, the black boxes. These near-indestructible devices, equipped with voice recorders and flight data recorders, held the key to unlocking the secrets of the tragic collision. Divers, battling strong currents, cold and poor visibility, worked tirelessly to locate the black boxes, their efforts hampered by the vast debris fields scattered across the Potomac River. After hours of painstaking searching, their persistence paid off. The black boxes, their orange paint scratched and dented but their vital contents intact, were carefully recovered and transported to a secure facility for analysis. The voice recorder, capturing the conversations and sounds from the cockpit, promised to provide invaluable insights into the actions and decisions of the pilots in the moments leading up to the collision. The flight data recorder, a treasure trove of information on the aircraft's altitude, speed, heading, and other critical parameters, held the potential to reveal any mechanical malfunctions or anomalies that may have contributed to the tragedy. The analysis of the black boxes, a painstaking and time-consuming process, was expected to take some time. Investigators, working around the clock, hoped that the data contained within these devices would shed light on the cause of the collision, providing crucial answers for the families of the victims and the aviation community at large. The recovery of the black boxes marked the beginning of a long and arduous journey towards understanding the cause of the Reagan National Airport collision. Investigators, armed with the data from the wreckage, witness accounts, and air traffic control recordings, faced the daunting task of piecing together the events that led to this catastrophic event. The investigation, a complex and multifaceted undertaking, would involve experts from the National Transportation Safety Board, the Federal Aviation Administration, the aircraft manufacturers, and other relevant organizations. Their mission to determine not just what happened, but why it happened, and most importantly, how to prevent a similar tragedy from occurring in the future. The investigation promised to be lengthy and complex with no easy answers. Investigators would explore a wide range of factors including human error, mechanical failure, weather conditions, and air traffic control procedures. Was there any pilot error or miscommunication between the pilots and air traffic control that contributed to the collision? Did any mechanical malfunctions or failures in either aircraft play a role in the accident? Did weather conditions, such as visibility or wind shear, contribute to the collision? Were there any deficiencies in air traffic control procedures or protocols that may have played a role in the accident? The answers to these questions and countless others would not come easily. Investigators committed to a thorough and unbiased investigation, prepared to follow the evidence wherever it led, even if it meant challenging long-held assumptions or uncovering uncomfortable truths. The road ahead would be long and arduous, but the pursuit of truth, of understanding, and of preventing future tragedies fueled their determination. As investigators delved deeper into the wreckage and data, a labyrinth of potential causes began to emerge. The investigation sought to unravel the intricate chain of events leading to the catastrophe. Experts meticulously examined human actions, technical complexities, and environmental factors. One focal point was the role of human error. Pilot judgment, communication, and adherence to protocols were critical. Training records and flight histories were scrutinized for deficiencies. Cockpit voice recordings offered insights into the final moments. Technical malfunctions or failures were also considered. Wreckage was examined for mechanical issues. Maintenance records were scrutinized for red flags. The investigation included air traffic control systems and procedures. Deficiencies in equipment, protocols, or training were considered. Radar data and communication logs offered insights into decision-making. The investigation extended beyond pilots and controllers to the broader context. The Reagan National Airport collision sparked a debate: human error or systemic failure. Experts argued over pilot judgment, fatigue, and miscommunication versus procedural flaws and system complexity. The goal was to understand all factors and prevent future tragedies. Investigators pieced together the Reagan National Airport collision, revealing a perfect storm of factors. Miscommunication, high traffic, and potential wind shear all played roles. The investigation highlighted the complexities of aviation safety. As the investigation into the Reagan National Airport collision entered its final stages, anticipation and anxiety hung heavy in the air. The nation awaited the NTSB's final report, seeking answers and accountability. The NTSB's findings could reshape aviation safety protocols and bring closure to grieving families. Their reputation for thoroughness and impartiality was well earned. The NTSB had a long history of tackling complex aviation accidents. The stakes were high, raising questions about airspace vulnerability. The final report promised a comprehensive account of the collision. It would analyze flight data and wreckage patterns to determine the sequence of events. The report would also examine human factors and decision-making. The findings would focus on identifying systemic weaknesses and recommending changes. The report would address pilot training, fatigue management, and air traffic control procedures. The Reagan National Airport collision was a stark reminder of aviation risks, igniting a renewed focus on safety. The aviation industry, regulators, and policymakers worked to prevent a similar tragedy. Emphasis was placed on communication and coordination between pilots and air traffic controllers. Clear, concise communication is critical, especially in congested airspace or emergencies. The FAA reviewed communication protocols and training programs to enhance clarity. air traffic control procedures and technologies were reassessed. The FAA invested in next-generation air traffic control systems to reduce human error. Pilot training and fatigue management were emphasized. Stricter regulations on pilot duty time and rest requirements were implemented. Airlines invested in fatigue risk management programs. The collision prompted a broader examination of aviation safety culture. The industry focused on data analysis, risk assessment, and continuous improvement. The tragedy was a catalyst for change, emphasizing the priority of safety. The deafening roar of the collision had barely faded into a haunting echo before the full weight of the tragedy descended upon the nation's capital. Reagan National Airport transformed into a scene of chaos and despair. Emergency responders battled a raging inferno searching for survivors. Hope dwindled with each passing hour. Families clung to fading hopes of a miracle. The silence spoke volumes of the pain and uncertainty. Chaplains and grief counselors offered comfort and support. The FAA grounded all flights, silencing the airspace. The closure stranded thousands of passengers. The city took on an eerie stillness. The streets stood eerily empty, broken only by sirens. The closure of Reagan National Airport, a critical transportation hub, sent ripples of disruption throughout the region's economy and the lives of countless individuals. The airport, a vital artery for business travelers, government officials, and tourists, connected Washington, D.C. to destinations worldwide. Its sudden closure dealt a significant blow to the city's economic vitality and the daily routines of its residents. Businesses reliant on air travel faced significant disruptions and financial losses. Hotels, restaurants, and other tourism-related businesses experienced a sharp decline in customers. The closure also impacted thousands of airport employees, from airline staff to security personnel. Government operations were equally affected. Washington, D.C. relies heavily on air travel for the movement of personnel and resources. The closure forced government agencies to scramble for alternative transportation, delaying meetings and disrupting schedules. The ripple effects extended far beyond economics and government operations, touching countless lives. Families faced agonizing delays in reuniting with loved ones. Students, business travelers, and others found their lives put on hold due to canceled flights and rebooking nightmares. As the initial shock subsided, the arduous task of recovery began. For the families of the victims, the journey ahead would be long and painful, marked by the unbearable grief of losing loved ones. The outpouring of support from the community, the nation, and the world offered a glimmer of solace amidst their sorrow. Support groups and grief counseling services provided a lifeline of compassion and understanding during their darkest hours. The nation, united in grief, rallied around them, offering condolences, prayers, and financial assistance. The task of rebuilding extended beyond personal tragedies, encompassing the airport itself and the public's trust in air travel safety. Reagan National Airport, once a symbol of bustling commerce, now bore the weight of tragedy. The aviation industry faced the daunting task of rebuilding trust with a public now acutely aware of the inherent risks associated with air travel. In the face of unimaginable loss, the nation's spirit of resilience shone through. The Reagan National Airport collision served as a catalyst for unity, compassion, and a shared determination to honor the victims. Across the country, communities gathered to mourn the loss of life and offer support to the grieving families. Candlelight vigils illuminated the night, each flickering flame representing a life cut short. Memorial services provided spaces for reflection, remembrance, and the sharing of grief. Stories of the victims filled the airwaves and newspaper pages, transforming them from nameless statistics into individuals. The nation's leaders vowed to honor the victims by seeking answers and demanding accountability. The NTSB pledged a thorough and impartial investigation, their findings to be made public in the interest of transparency. The Reagan National Airport collision cast a long shadow over the future of aviation. The tragedy served as a stark reminder that human factors, communication, judgment, and a shared commitment to safety remained paramount. The investigation's findings would undoubtedly lead to changes in regulations, technologies, and training protocols. The NTSB's recommendations would likely address a wide range of issues from pilot fatigue management to air traffic control procedures. The tragedy sparked renewed interest in emerging technologies with the potential to enhance aviation safety. Collision avoidance systems garnered increased attention, with calls for their wider adoption. Unmanned aerial vehicles entered the conversation, with some experts suggesting their potential role in enhancing safety. The lessons learned from this disaster would continue to guide the quest for safer skies. The devastating collision at Reagan National Airport ignited a fervent search for historical parallels. Experts and investigators delved into archives, revisiting past incidents in search of patterns and insights. The skies, while statistically one of the safest modes of transportation, bear the weight of past tragedies. The 1978 Midair collision over San Diego served as a chilling reminder of the potential for human error. The investigation into that disaster led to significant improvements in air traffic control procedures. The 2006 Midair collision over Brazil highlighted the challenges of managing increasingly crowded skies. That investigation prompted a renewed focus on pilot training and language proficiency standards. Each tragedy contributed to the evolution of aviation safety, prompting changes and innovations. The history of aviation is a testament to humanity's determination to learn from mistakes and improve safety. Each accident has served as a catalyst for change, prompting investigations and innovations. The aftermath of the 1978 San Diego collision led to the widespread adoption of traffic collision avoidance systems. This technology has become an indispensable tool for maintaining safe separation between aircraft. The investigation into the 1986 Tenerife airport disaster highlighted the importance of clear communication. This tragedy led to significant improvements in pilot training and crew resource management. The lessons learned from these accidents have shaped the industry's approach to safety. The development of flight data recorders and cockpit voice recorders has proven invaluable in accident investigations. The tragic collision at Reagan National Airport served as a stark reminder of the ongoing journey of aviation safety. Investigators worked tirelessly to uncover the specific causes of this disaster. The investigation's findings would shape the future of aviation safety, prompting changes in regulations and technologies. Experts predicted a renewed focus on human factors in aviation. The tragedy ignited discussions about the increasing complexity of airspace management. Some experts advocated for further investments in next-generation air traffic control systems. The lessons learned from this disaster would continue to guide the quest for safer skies. The pursuit of aviation safety is driven by the memory of past tragedies and the belief that the skies can be made safer. The skies above Reagan National Airport have returned to their familiar rhythm, but the memory of the tragedy lingers. The loss of 67 innocent lives continues to cast a long shadow. The wreckage is being cleared, the investigations continue, and the final reports will be published in the weeks ahead. Yet, no amount of analysis can ever truly erase the pain and sense of profound loss. The families of the victims carry the weight of their loss with quiet dignity. Their loved ones live on in memories, photographs, and acts of kindness performed in their honor. The scholarships, parks, and charitable foundations serve as testaments to lives lived with purpose. The Reagan National Airport collision revealed the extraordinary resilience of the human spirit. The quest for aviation safety is an ongoing journey, a testament to human ingenuity. It is fueled by the memory of past tragedies and the belief that the skies can be made safer. The Reagan National Airport collision served as a catalyst for change, prompting a renewed focus on safety. It underscored the importance of investing in cutting-edge technologies and enhancing training protocols. The legacy of this tragedy lives on in the enhanced safety measures implemented in its wake. The countless individuals who dedicate their lives to ensuring the safety of those who take to the skies are the guardians of the skies. The challenge of maintaining safety in this increasingly complex environment requires constant vigilance. The Reagan National Airport collision serves as a solemn reminder of the stakes involved and the importance of our shared commitment to a safer future in the skies. Condolences to the families of the victims.